Thanks for watching the Franchise Growth Show. I'm Joe Carter, founder of the Twin Flame Group and partner with the franchise consulting company. I don't want to pull you away from today's episode for too long, but before we get started, I wanted to share one quick idea that every founder and franchise operator should understand. Revenue is a byproduct. Value is the objective. At the Twin Flame Group, everything that we do is focused on building scalable, sellable businesses. Now let's get into today's episode.
Nobody should have to go to the restroom in a porta potty. I absolutely boycott. I will not let my kids go in a porta potty. We are too evolved in a society to be okay with a porta potty. Anytime you're out and you're spending money and you're trying to enjoy yourself, or you're at a festival or you're with the kids, why? So that's probably my second biggest why is down with the porta potties.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Franchise Growth Show, where we talk with founders of franchise brands about what makes them different. You know, I've built, scaled, and exited multiple companies at triple EBITDA averages. I've been on both sides of the table as a franchisee and a franchisor. I've also worked inside private equity, doing due diligence on over $14 billion worth of deals. So I know what makes a business look good on paper and what makes it actually valuable when a buyer starts digging. And today's guest, she's building something that checks both boxes. Angela is the co-founder of Roamin Restrooms, a luxury portable restroom brand that is growing fast and franchising smart. Let's get into how she's scaling something that most people overlook until they need it. Angela, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Take us back to the beginning, if you would. Why did you decide to start a franchise?
So my business partner and I decided to start a franchise when we realized that the restroom business was so profitable. So we are actually both franchisees of different brands. We understand what it takes to start a franchise. We understand what it takes to be a franchisee. And we together started Roamin Restrooms, actually with no intention of franchising in the beginning. But when we saw how well it was doing, we thought we really have something very, very profitable here that we want to teach others. And franchising was just the next natural step for us.
That's amazing. So it sounds like franchising wasn't always the vision, but please correct me if I'm wrong there. Did the model evolve out of that operational necessity?
Yeah, absolutely it did. We just realized that we had something that was just so simple. The profit margins were there. It just made sense. We had low overhead, high demand, and a service that everyone, quite frankly, needs. And so we, with our background in franchising, we said, why don't we create a model that's really easy to run and build something that's built by franchisees for franchisees.
Love that. By franchisees for franchisees. That's a tagline right there. I love that. What were the early signals that told you that this is more than just a service, that this could actually be scaled nationwide?
Yeah, so we were making money the first month. In fact, when we had our very first trailer delivered to us, we had to reroute it because we got a last minute booking and we actually had to have the trailer delivered to our event, which was pretty interesting to navigate the mechanics. But luckily the trailers are so easy to run that we had it delivered and we were able to set it up within minutes and take care of the event. But we just started talking to other referral companies, people that we were trying to just refer business back and forth. And people started reaching out to us from other cities saying, hey, when are you going to come here? When are you going to come to Dallas? We really need your business here. And we realized we needed to scale and offer it up in different places.
Before we keep going, quick shout out to our sponsor, Dallas Fort Worth Pierce Bespoke. If you are building a serious company, then presentation matters. Dallas Fort Worth Pierce Bespoke creates custom clothing for operators and leaders who want to show up sharp in every room that they walk into. Great partners of the show. Now let's get back to the conversation. That's a fantastic story. Thank you so much for sharing that. What were the first 2 or 3 systems or processes that you had to build before franchising could be on the table?
Well, because it's a restroom trailer, cleaning was a part of our first priority. getting the cleaning, the scheduling, the billing out, things like that. We built everything on our own custom AI powered platform, and we wanted to have something simple for people to use, so it actually could be managed right from your phone.
I love that. Your own proprietary AI driven model. That sounds fantastic. How did you test or validate that it could actually be replicatable?
Yep. So we started doing it here locally in Austin. We did it for a while and just really worked out any bugs. But we also partnered with somebody that's very, very knowledgeable about AI and about, he built this platform specifically for us. And so we spent many, many months testing it, making sure that everything worked perfectly. And then that's when we decided to start the franchising process.
That's awesome. And I know one thing, many founders that I've worked with in the past, they kind of over index when it comes to lead generation. How have you balanced growth with back end operations?
Yep. So it's the chicken or the egg, right? It's you can't grow too fast, and you want to grow, of course. And so we've been very, very mindful to grow at an appropriate rate that is slow and steady. And our team has daily as well as weekly meetings to make sure that we get feedback from our franchisees, from our clients, and that we address any issues that come up. And we just use that to grow and evolve as we grow the business.
That's amazing. Now pivoting slightly to kind of innovation and differentiation. To somebody who's maybe never heard of your brand before, what makes Roamin Restrooms different from your traditional porta-potty rentals or trailers?
So, to put it one way, we're not a porta-potty company. We're actually a tech company that happens to rent luxury restrooms. And so we do have, like I mentioned, an AI-powered platform, makes it easy to manage. But I'm sure that you've been in a porta potty, correct? They're hot, they have no light, they have no AC, it's disgusting. Probably comes with, who knows what kind of sanitary issues. A luxury restroom trailer is a trailer that you actually have stairs that go up into it, you've got safety rails, you've got lighting on the inside and out. It's climate controlled, so it has air conditioning and heat, real running water, real sinks, real flushing toilets. It's just a game changer. When you're out in public and at a festival or a concert or a wedding, these trailers are a must-have. Porta potties are really becoming a thing of the past.
I love that. A luxury restroom, not a porta potty. That's freaking fantastic. And the fact that you have that tech stack, that AI platform, really differentiates your brand and helps it become a premium in the market. So kudos for that. Has there been any other product or service level innovations beyond what you've already mentioned that might unlock a new tier of clients?
Absolutely. So we have a couple of trailers that are between is maybe a step down for luxury, and these are specifically built for work sites, so specifically for construction companies. And there's a whole slew of them that you can get. They're a little more cost effective, of course, because they don't need all the bells and whistles, but they're definitely 100 times better than the porta potties. They are air conditioned as well, heated, lit. They actually don't run on electricity. They run more on a battery. And they also have hooks that you can hoist them up on the top of buildings if you needed them up there as well. They also come with drinkable water and things like that. And second to that, we've got a bunch of upsells on our luxury restroom trailers. So, for example, we have Starlink. We have a Starlink package that people can purchase in addition to. So if you're at a wedding, we have a couple weddings here in Texas that are going to be out on family ranches. And so they chose the Starlink package where their guests are going to have Wi-Fi out there. So we feel like that was an important add-on. We do have a couple other add-ons. We have, for example, a opportunity to have a photo booth add-on. So where somebody would typically pay quite a bit of money for a photo booth, this would just be, a couple $100 extra if you want to have a photo booth add-on, because we're already out there.
Let me pause here for a quick second because this is important. Most business owners think growth means more revenue, but serious operators understand something different. Buyers don't pay for revenue. They pay for certainty. That means documented systems, leadership accountability, recurring revenue, and owner independence. If the business stops when the owner stops, you don't own a company. You own a job with overhead. And that's exactly what we saw here at the Twin Flame Group. All right, back to the episode.
And so, this kind of helps us attract a whole variety of people in our business model.
I love it. This is jazzing me up. Now let's maybe shift and get a little bit more granular. Let's talk some numbers. Without diving into the FDD and needing an NDA from every single viewer, can you tell us what a strong performing franchise unit looks like in terms of revenue, margins, ROI, that sort of thing?
A great operator with just 2 trailers has the potential to have a gross revenue of roughly $10,000 to $15,000 a month. Now, this is assuming that these trailers are rented out every single weekend. Those are just for weekend rentals. A typical rental we are getting in the Austin, Texas area, and we found this to be pretty consistent in the rest of the country too, is roughly $1,800 to $2,300 per weekend. That's for a 3-day weekend. And so assuming that your trailers are rented out, your 2 trailers are rented out every weekend, that's roughly $16,000. Those are just top potential for 2 trailers. It's very lean, it's very simple, it's very scalable. Then the costs to rent these out are very, very nominal. So, obviously you're going to have your royalties and things like that, but the costs, you've got insurance and gas and things like that, but we've designed these to be very low in cost. The owner can either drop these off themselves, or they can hire a 1099 contractor to go and drop them off. But if you're getting, $1,800 to $2,000 a weekend, you hire a contractor for $300 to go do it yourself, and you've made money, and all you've done is, build networking relationships and have a couple of phone calls and emails.
Quick thought before we move forward. Inside the Twin Flame Group, we use a very simple framework called the 4 modus operandi: clear goals, measurable milestones, specific actions, and weekly accountability. Most businesses have goals. Some even have actions, but almost none enforce weekly accountability. And without accountability, execution dies. All right, let's keep going. I love that. $2,000 a weekend per unit, right? So that's a fantastic revenue model. How do I get in? What investment range is necessary or needed if I wanted to pull the trigger?
Yep. So the investment breakdown is total all in roughly $160,000 to $180,000, and so the franchise fee itself is $60,000 per territory to get in. We do offer a military discount, and the more territories you buy, there are some cost rates with that as well. The trailers themselves, we require you to buy 2, and those are anywhere from $45,000 to $50,000. And and then on top of that, we've got your training expenses. All in around $160,000 to $180,000. $160,000
to $180,000, and I'm going to get $2,000 per weekend per unit as a return. So that's real margin. How much of this is coming or being driven from recurring contracts versus one-off events?
So we want you to have reoccurring, because events drive cash flow, right? But reoccurring clients, like your construction companies, your restoration companies, or your long-term rentals like at campgrounds and things like that, those create steady income. And so what we do is we teach you how to network with people in your area. For example, your event planners, your wedding planners, anybody that's going to be a referral for you. And at the beginning, you're going to reach out to them. You're just going to get to know them. We teach you all that. In fact, your CRM already comes with those contacts built into your system. So all you have to do is reach out to them and just build those relationships. Once those relationships are built, the goal is for you to be the go-to person. And so that at any time you have people calling you left and right, so that you're always booked on your calendar and making money.
That's amazing. You're giving them the lead generation from day one. That's fantastic. Transferability systems. You talked quite a bit about that already, but what were some of the first SOPs that you had to write in order for this business to be franchisable, for somebody to be able to follow a blueprint or a playbook?
So, I mean, as the first SOP, that's a good question. Because we've written so many. Definitely, it's about the trailers. It's about maintaining the trailers and keeping the trailers very clean and sanitary. Luckily, we work with a manufacturer company that is there and has been very supportive for our franchisees in making sure that they are trained well, that they know everything there is to know about the trailer, and are also there to troubleshoot for them if they have any questions at all. Or if they have any issues in the field at all, they are there. And so the trailers are first and foremost the most important SOP. Beyond that, then you've just got really your process as far as scheduling, getting your rental agreements. We do have a form rental agreement that is really solid, and that protects you when you're in the field. So if there's any damage or anything to the trailers, then the client's responsible for that. So getting those proper rental agreements in place, getting the deposits. We do charge a 50% deposit. Even if we have weddings in 2026, which we already do, we can go ahead and take a 50% deposit for that. And it is a non-refundable deposit. And so really keeping up with all that, that's part of the platform. But we created SOPs around that so that nothing falls through the cracks. Everything's on your calendar. Your rental agreements actually we have built-in DocuSign. So just by the click of a button, you can get those rental agreements out and signed and your deposit secured and in your bank.
That's awesome. You've talked a lot about tools and systems and tech, specifically your AI platform. That's a lot of moving pieces. So in your opinion, what do the operators lean on the most day to day for efficiency?
It's going to be your platform. So everything's run from the platform, and including your email, your phone, your text messaging, all your communication systems, all your calendars, everything is run for the platform. And so it's just being very aware and checking your platform every single day, making sure that you've got, you're following up with leads, you've got your rental agreements out, you've got your drivers dispatched and things like that. That's going to be your number one, is that platform.
Love that. Love that. Having been on the franchisor side myself, I know that there's a need for an ever-evolving capability to pivot when need be and or improve if possible. So what's your cadence for updating those systems or keeping your playbook fresh?
Yep. No, that's a really good question. So right now we're constantly checking in with our franchisees. We're constantly checking in and getting feedback from our clients, and we listen to that information. We have regular management calls, and we go through that feedback and say, okay, well, we can change this or we can update this. Overall, I feel like we've built a really good system that we're just going to keep building and building on top of.
Love it. Love it. Moving over to you, the kind of the founder shift. When you first created this company, how has your role changed or evolved since then, now that you're actually franchising and you have franchisees underneath you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the key is to build systems and processes. Those SOPs are really the most crucial thing that you can do. And so, I went from doing it all to we built systems so that others could do it. And so my job right now is just to make sure our franchisees have everything they need to succeed.
I love it. I love it. Having been there and walked in those shoes myself, I applaud you for all of that and putting the franchisees first. Has there been, or did you at any point hit any kind of a mental wall
I mean, if you don't hit mental walls, then you might have bigger problems. I don't know, but I mean, of course, you're gonna hit mental walls, and you just use that as an opportunity to build a door and bust through that wall, right? Definitely the moment you realize that it's bigger than you, it's actually really exciting and humbling at the same time. And that's when you have to lean in on those systems and your team and just really buckle down and realize, this is just one step this is just one step and one hurdle I'm going to get through. I love mental walls because that just gives me the opportunity to get better and stronger.
Love that mindset. Love that mindset, Angela. Not every brand is a great match for a potential franchisee, right? So what are some of the ways that you vet and then once you select, support the new franchisees as they come into your network?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, in a nutshell, we're just looking for people who are great with customers. We're looking for people who really care about the client experience. We're especially looking for people who can follow a system. You don't need industry experience. You just need drive. You need hustle. You need grit, and you need to know how to follow a system. So yeah, we're looking for people who want to be a part of a family, to be a part of a system, and also to have fun, right? That's the whole point. Let's make money and have fun.
Love it. If we could do both, we're having a great day, right?
Exactly.
Um, Having done multiple companies in the past, both franchisee and not, there's always that initial ramp up period where you're putting in a lot of effort to either build a culture or leverage those systems and put them in place. So what's your secret sauce to helping a new operator ramp without getting to a place of burnout?
Yep. We actually have a clear onboarding process. We have training tools set up. We do have ongoing coaching. So we have pre-launch coaching as well as ongoing coaching. So we're going to help them get launched. We're going to be supportive of that. And then after that, there's going to be ongoing coaching for them. It's going to be done both one-on-one and in group settings. And even outside of that, we're here to support them, of course. So it's designed really to get them profitable quickly without the overwhelm. So we actually have just a process where we have, today we're going to talk about this topic. We're going to talk about networking and local marketing. Today we're going to talk about your pro forma and your goals and what's your goal, and let's backwards engineer that. So we take them one step at a time because it is a lot of stuff. Opening a business is a lot of moving pieces, but we believe we really have that nailed down to a process so that we can just take with them one step at a time.
I love it. Supporting them from day one, and even it sounds like day zero, really, before they've officially started, and supporting them all the way through. That's amazing. Has there been a time period where you've turned down a potential prospect because either they weren't a right cultural fit or right operational fit, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely we have. Our goal right now and will always be to bring in the right people, and we would rather grow much slower with the right people than fast with the wrong ones. So yeah, absolutely we have. We want to make sure that the people we bring on are a fantastic culture fit for us and easy to work with and, fun and, also really know what it takes to build a business.
Love it. I absolutely love it. If we could, I'd love to pivot to like the thing that maybe jazzes me up the most, and that's valuation and buyer exit readiness. So you've built a model and a brand, and you've already touched on it multiple times over the platform and the systems and the tools and the playbooks that you help an operator get to a place of profitability on a consistent basis. But what are those like top 3 value drivers that if the business came knocking in terms of, let's say, private equity or venture capitalists, what are those top 3 value drivers that would make this brand better than the rest?
Reoccurring revenue, technology, brand, the fact that it's basically recession proof. Everyone uses the restroom. But really, I would lean more on the technology that we've built for this.
Amazing. Yeah, tech is always something that, whether it's PVC, what have you, is always looking for as a differentiator. So kudos to putting that at the forefront. What's the long-term strategy for Roamin Restrooms? Are you building towards an exit? Are you building towards adding different service layers beyond the luxury restroom slash porta potty? Maybe is a more well-known term, although it doesn't sound like we like that one. Or are you holding the scale and trying to get to those multiple verticals? What's the future look like?
Yeah, so right now it's all about expansion. We plan to expand. Roamin Restrooms is just the start. So we plan to build a family of brands using the same smart platform that we have. And so, we're looking at Roamin Rubbish. It's going to be a dumpster business. We're even looking at something like Roamin Taps, that it's more of a tap room on wheels for different events and things like that. So we're having fun with this, and we're already have a couple more concepts in play, but it's definitely about expansion right now.
I love it. And speaking of expansion, let's talk markets. How are you picking your next market? Is it inbound interest when somebody comes in and says, hey, I want to know more? Or is there an outbound strategy where you've selected markets that you want to go acquire first for any particular reason?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have territories all over the nation right now. They're all open. We want to, preferably non-registration states is what we're looking at. We have had interest in registration states, and we're in the process of registering in a couple of states up north. So that's in the pipeline. We do have specific interest right now in the Dallas, Texas area and the Fort Worth area. We have a vendor there that's begging us for a location there because they have plenty of business to refer to us, and that's just one referral partner. I know Florida is also another hot area where we've got referral partners that are needed, or referral partners that are asking us to come to Florida, as well as Arizona. And so we're open to any place in the nation. This is not, everybody goes to the restroom. This is not, it's not one or the other. It's everybody uses this. Everybody uses the product. But it's just a matter of getting out there and getting into those right areas.
Love that. And when it comes to actually the creation of those territories, right? How do you prioritize metro density, regional logistics, event heavy zones? Like, how do you actually define how large a territory is?
So each territory, as it's been developed, has a handful of zip codes in it. Some have more than others, depending on how dense the population is. But we lead with event zones, and then we look at our weddings, our festivals, film sets, and then we just fill in the gaps there. So, different areas are going to be, different, but those are the things that we took out into consideration. Lots of data.
Love it. Data-driven analytics to drive decision making. I absolutely love it. What does nationwide scale look like in your head? Is that 50 operators? Is it 100? What does it look like from your perspective?
Yep. So our goal for the first year is at least 100 operators. Right now we have over 2,000 territories across the nation that we have. And we want to grow to 400 or 500 operators. We want to grow this as big as possible. But we're building a community of franchisees who love what they do and just want to live life on their own terms. So whether that's 400, 500, it doesn't matter as long as we're making sure that all of our territories are we're servicing the communities within our territories.
Although that almost sounds like a mission-driven mentality, which is fantastic. Is there something else that you would like to expand upon when it comes to like a bigger why, quote unquote, behind Roamin Restrooms? Like, is it cultural? Is it environmental impact? What's the story, the why as to why this is the business that you want to drive?
Yep. So there's a couple of things in there. One, freedom and flexibility. I left corporate America years and years ago and bought a franchise and grew that. And as a result, I was able to have freedom and flexibility. And my original why for that is I just wanted to pick my kids up from school. At the time, I had an hour commute downtown Austin, and it was just not, I needed more flexibility, and that's what started my journey. But once I got that freedom and flexibility, I just became passionate about helping others and teach others how to have that as too. As a result, I became a business coach, started coaching different franchisees nationwide and help them to get that freedom and flexibility as well. And that just kind of went into, Roamin Restrooms. Now, as a franchisor, I've got a huge opportunity to help people, get that freedom and that flexibility. And, we're just helping people build real businesses without being chained to a storefront or to staff or to an office. And that's the first why. And then the other why, of course, would be, nobody should have to go to the restroom in a porta potty. I absolutely boycott. I will not let my kids go in a porta potty. We are too evolved in a society to be okay with a porta potty. Anytime you're out and you're spending money and you're trying to enjoy yourself, or you're at a festival, or you're with the kids, why? Why? So yeah, that's probably my second biggest why is down with the porta potties. Let's step it up.
I love it. No more porta potties. No more. We need to get one of those.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways, what is? It sounds like you're in this for the long haul, which is amazing. So, what's the legacy that you're looking or aiming to create through this brand for yourself, your family, the next generation, whatever it may be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, we're just looking to take something that's so simple and build it smart and change lives. We're proof that innovation and heart can coexist, even in the restroom industry. And really, probably the biggest legacy, just, I want to see families grow, and I want to see them have more time together, and I want to see, other people have legacies and make legacy money to hand down to their generation and things like that. But, I also want to see us move away from these porta potties and just really have more modern, clean, and higher standards when it comes to, being outdoors and being around our community. We deserve better as a society.
Kudos for that. That is a legacy that lasts. Kudos to that. You have done something that many people might fear is near impossible. You've taken a company, you've created a brand that has support and tech and systems and all of this stuff. And if they wanted to do that, there's a lot of fear factor out there. So, in your opinion, what is the thing that most founders get wrong when they try to franchise maybe too early?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the biggest thing is rushing and building too fast. We want to build something steady. We want to build something with the right people and with the right systems in place, so that we can start, build on success from day one. We're not trying to build this and rush it and just build this huge, humongous thing. I think that's definitely a mistake a lot of people do make. We're also keeping our operations very, very lean, and we're teaching our franchisees to operate very, very lean.
Love it. Love it. And having kind of been in the shoes where you're in the day to day, you're in the grind, right? You're in operator mode, but now you want to create a franchise brand, you do have to have a mindset shift, right? So, what is the mindset shift that helped you go from operator to builder?
Oh, I love mindset. Now you're speaking my language, Joe. I love mindset. I could talk all day about mindset. How long is our call? No.
As long as you want it to be.
Operator to builder. Well, first and foremost, you have to think about systems. You have to have those systems in place. Think systems, not tasks. So once you start designing solutions, and instead of doing them, design, not do, then everything changes. And that's when you have to really learn to let stuff go and be a part of a team and rely on your team. As the founder and owner, you cannot do everything. You have to rely on others. One of my favorite books is Who Not How. I'm sure you've read it, but when I read it years ago, it was a game changer for me and even my life, where, typically in the past, I would want to do everything myself. Well, I'll just do it. But Who Not How teaches you, don't ask yourself how you're going to do something. Ask yourself who's going to help you with that. And then you become the person overseeing everything. And it really takes so much stress off your plate and so much stress off your shoulders when you can be that person that's running everything, but you're relying on people. You're running it, you're not doing.
All right, you just gave me so many nuggets. Now we absolutely are talking the same language here. Systems over revenue is like one of my big belief systems there. But you said something that I've repeated over and over again to founders, and I'd love to just to kind of double down on that, if that's okay. If you're a founder and you're trying to shift from operator to builder, you should not run around executing tasks. And I'm going to use Angela's word here for a second. You should run around and pretend you're an owl. Just run around to everybody going, who. Because it's no longer about you, it's about them. And if they get to a place where they know you're going to ask them who, they already got an answer, and that means they're forward thinking. They're creating a systemization built within them where you no longer have to ask them who. They're going to come to you and tell you who. So, you who? So I guess really last question I got is, and it might be a tough one, but I love asking this kind of a question. Anybody who's built a brand and is in the process of developing a legacy like you are. And that is, I've asked myself this so many times, and like every time I either ask myself or I get asked, it seems like the answer changes as well. So don't feel like you're stuck to this particular answer forever either. But if you could go backwards in time and you could start over, same idea, same market, would there be anything that you would do differently? And if so, what?
Ooh, that is a tough question, Joe. Would I do anything differently? I don't know if I would do anything differently. I'm sure there's got to be something. Since day one, I knew we were building something very, very special. What I did do that I'm really proud of, that I think a lot of people maybe don't think to do, is I took a lot of pictures. I took a lot of pictures of behind the scenes. Me and my business partner, we love to whiteboard. I took a lot of pictures of that. Like, we would get up at 6 o'clock every single morning and have a meeting. It's just massive hustle and grind. I don't know if I would do anything different, but if I had to say one thing, it's really document every process, every note, everything you do, because it does become your playbook, and the playbook becomes your brand. And so, just really having a place to, document all that stuff is really helpful. But I mean, there's no such thing as a bad idea. There's bad execution. But from the very, very beginning, we knew we were building something very, very special. And because my co-founder and we've built businesses before, we really knew that, and we were really mindful of documenting everything with day one. But I think the biggest thing is your SOPs and your documentation and your processes.
But I love the advice you just gave, and it's almost like a math formula. Write it down, because when you write it down, it becomes a playbook. Once you have the playbook, that becomes your brand. This plus this equals this. I love that. I love that. Angela, this was beyond powerful. This was day-changing, life-changing in many, many different ways. You are showing that operational excellence plus intentional scale can create a franchise model that is out there to last. So to our listeners, if you are trying to go from founder-led to system-led, you should have already been, but feel free to rewind and take notes on this one, because Angela dropped some bombs. This is how you build something that people want to own and someday buy. Let's build strategically. Angela, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate you so much and can't wait to have your co-founder on a future episode as well. Maybe all three of us can do one together or something.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. It is stopping. Give it just a second. Boom. Okay, cool. All right, so it should be uploading now. It typically takes, like I said. Thanks again for watching this episode of the Franchise Growth Show. If you're a founder or a franchise operator who wants to build a scalable, sellable business, that is exactly what we do at the Twin Flame Group. Our focus is simple: build systems, increase EBITDA, and increase enterprise value. If you want to learn more, visit twinflametx.com or DM us on any of our social platforms, and we will see you at the next episode.